Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation. I really don't want to hear any of these celebrities, no matter where they are on the list of A to Z, trying to defend Diddy in terms of either why he was arrested or why he should get a bond, because he deserves to be in prison, honestly, but he's just in jail right now because he hasn't been sentenced, hasn't been found guilty, he's just been charged, and he does not deserve a bond. This man is a psychopath, and I also don't want to hear the lines that people were trying to give for the I Believe I Can Fly singer. He was, taken advantage of when he was a child. Yeah, and he was taking advantage of other people's children. It is very true that often victims become offenders. But do you know how many people who have been victims do not offend other people? And if you get the privilege to be in this industry to make any type of money, because let's be clear, there's a lot of people in the industry who are pseudo rich, but in actuality, they're really broke because they spend everything that they have coming in. And then at the current point in time where they have more going out than they have coming in. So they're really not a whole lot different than a lot of regular people when it comes down to the way life has shaked out for them. But when you know that you have been victimized and you choose not to get help, I don't want to hear anything about, well, I was a victim when I was a child. Because at this point in time, you're in your 50s, and you chose to use your money to do the horrific things that you were doing. And then now people want to come out and speak out to say, well, he deserves to get a bond. Other people in similar situations. No, it's not true. I don't want to hear anything about him deserving to get bonded out. Now, Lil Boosie is somebody who is absolutely unintelligent, okay? But has pretty much gotten a whole lot more notoriety because of the things that he has said online. Controversy. It has, been selling for him because he gets a big paycheck all the time for being one of DJ Vlad's regular guests on his podcast. So he doesn't have to make music anymore. Because let's be honest, people ain't even really buying music like that like they used to anyway. So, with that being said, he had to speak on it. And now I'm just like, why can't people like this just sometimes just leave it alone? Even if you're asked about it, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't really want to speak on that. Nobody could really judge you for just saying, I don't really want to speak on it. But he had to share his thoughts. So clearly, I won't even say clearly, but Boosie makes a statement after he was initially arrested. And he's just like a lot of these guys out here that's just making it seem like this is just about sex. And it's not. Diddy has done far worse than the things with regards to sex, which in my personal opinion, even though some of these people were alleged sex workers, and they might have been getting paid, who knows if they all always did and always wanted to when they were doing what they were doing. Because the allegations in the indictment says that there was detainment, coercion, and it's not just those people. It's definitely mainly Cassie. And that's why I stand on what I said about her not being a girlfriend. She was an SEX worker, an SEX slave, if you will. It went from being a girlfriend a long time ago. A long time ago. Because, yeah, she may have initially been there willingly. But we could see from that video clip, that small video clip that we saw on CNN, that she clearly was trying to get away from him. You know, but to me, the statement, and I'll read some of it because it's just so ridiculous. He's definitely sounding guilty. He's sounding guilty. He said, I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew B words out for threesomes. He just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly in willingly to be with their partners for sex. If that's the case, you've been flued out. If that's the case, if you've been flued out and had sex, you should be labeled a prostitute. Well, I mean, quite frankly, that's what they are. If people, that's what they are. If females are living that type of lifestyle, you absolutely indeed are that. You may not label yourself that, but that indeed is what you are. Anyway, if that's the case, that's 80% of the women reading this, which bullcrap. Not every woman lives that type of life. So get out of here with the 80%. I hate N-words that try to do mathematics and you barely passed it when you were in school. So get out of here with the statistics. You're a celebrity. You gotta fly. P-N. How else would I get the P? You're never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at this N-word. Like, he really got a problem by facing life in prison for doing basically what so many other entertainer has done. I disagree. Hashtag. Well, hey, if most other male so-called celebrities are doing what Diddy has done, yeah, absolutely, they should be in prison. 100%. Because the thing about it is, I ain't never been no hoe. I ain't never been flued out. I thank God that I've been able to live the life that I've been able to live. So I don't know what it feels like to be in a position where you feel like you have to sleep with people in order to get money. But what I will say is, if the men, the ones who have the power, weren't doing stuff like that, the women would not have an industry to be in, like prostitution. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, there are males that do that too, but let's be clear. The percentages of them doing that is far less than the women. And even with that being said, the men who are in that industry, more often than not, they're sleeping with other men. Like, look at all of the congressmen that are single men that have been single for years. Do you really believe that they are just celibate and straight? But I digress. I'm not going to get into all of that because this isn't about that. So I'm going to share what an attorney had to say. And if what Boosie is, in my personal opinion, confessing that he and a lot of other men, so-called men, but I'll say males, in the industry, if they're doing the same thing that Diddy is doing, like he said in his statement, this is what he said, then yeah, they absolutely should be in prison.
Let's look at the facts. There were a handful of lawsuits that came long before Cassie, and no needle was moved on a prosecutorial level. There was nothing that the feds or anybody international was looking at. But when Cassie dropped, that is exactly when the tides changed. When he made that quick settlement, that's when he really opened the floodgates for all of these details to come about. And that, as you said, is a problem that I do not know why any attorney thought that settling this lawsuit would he would think would go away. Looking at this particular case, you see that it's not just a question about him sex trafficking. Listen, Sean Combs is the type of person that could have been in consensual relationships with a group of people and had group sex. That's legal. What he did and what this says was more sinister than that. So we're not looking at just fulfilling his sexual desires. This is someone, when you read the indictment, that drugged his victims and then used intravenous fluids in order to bring those victims back to life. That is something that goes way beyond what we've ever really heard of in cases like this. He took it really to the next level and kind of sharing the type of person that he is, if this is true, that this is not just a question of him having sex, as his attorney said, oh, this was a consensual 10-year relationship. No, we're talking about intravenous drugs and ketamine and things that revive people after they have been filmed against their will, saying that they were raped. So it's much bigger than just, thinking of somebody with a big sexual appetite. This is about power. This is about dominance. This is about holding people's careers over their heads in order to get what they want, with the use of arson, with the use of guns, with the use of taking away money and means for families to survive. This is such a big, big picture and it's only 14 pages of an indictment, but it certainly is filled with so much information that I would really encourage everybody to read it.
So yeah, take that. He is somebody that deserves to be in prison. He does not deserve to have bond. He is dangerous. This is the man that allegedly had Kid Cudi's car blown up. What if that man, or anybody for that matter, not just him, what if anybody was sitting in that car? What if even an animal was in the car at the time? And they don't play about killing animals. I'm just saying, this man is dangerous. And I believe even behind bars, depending on what he has left financially and who he still is in communication with, could still be dangerous behind bars. So let's be clear. I don't want to hear anything about he deserves to be bonded because other people in similar situations had bond. It's not true. And I know when things happen to these black men, they want to try to use the race card. But no, sir. I believe I Can Fly singer is somebody who we can use as an example that once he was in, he was in. He did not get bonded out, all right? And it's not because he didn't have the money to do it. It's because they said no. Jay Epps, he was detained. He was not out on bond. Now, there may have been some stuff in earlier years that we know about where that happened, but no, with the last thing before he was either taken out or took himself out, we don't know. We have our speculations. He was detained. He hadn't been tried yet. He was being held. The guy who had the NXIVM cult, the NXIVM SEX cult, if you heard of that, where one of those actresses, she used to be on a show called Smallville or something like that. I don't know. But she was involved in it and was a recruiter for that SEX cult. He was detained. And so they do this when they feel that people are a danger and also a flight risk. Him coming to New York, that was a ploy and a plot. He wanted to make it seem like, oh, I am here. Y'all didn't have to come to another state to pick me up. I'm making myself available. You can trust me. And even when they tried to get him bond the second time, he was denied. He was like, take my money, my mama's house, and my car for a bit of freedom. You can have it all. And they still said no. All right? He was trying to sing Jodeci, and they were like, nope, you can't have it. You are going to be staying where you have been detained, and we'll see in the court next time you have a hearing or when trial is beginning. And we don't know when the trial's going to begin. I don't really see that happening for another 6 to 9 months. So we're not talking about something that's going to be happening before the end of the year. And with that being said, I truly believe that he is going to be convicted. He's not going to be getting out. He's not going to be getting out. And for the things that he has been doing, he deserves to stay where he is. Talking about, if you release me, I promise you all can have surveillance of me. You all can watch me 24 hours a day like Big Brother. And I won't have any females over here except for my family members. And it's like, what about the men? I don't think that 1,000 case baby oil stash that they found was mainly for the women anyway. I mean, hey, I could be wrong, but I digress. Listen, I'm just disgusted with anyone trying to defend him and getting out on bond. And then Boosie talking about, well, 80% of women get flued out by these celebrities. It's just like, man, go ahead and confess. And if you've been doing the things that Diddy's been doing and living the life that he's been living, like you heard this attorney say, then yeah, you need to be behind bars too. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.